You ever see one of those juicy celebrity headlines that promises a huge story, but when you click, the actual source delivers, well, something else entirely? Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating case study that starts with one of the biggest names in pop music, and believe me, it ends with a crucial lesson for all of us. So it all starts with what looks like a straightforward, can't-miss story. You know the kind of headline, it just grabs your attention and makes you feel like you have to know every single detail.
And there it is. This was the title of a video from Bang Showbiz. Just look at how perfectly crafted this headline is. It's got all the right ingredients, right? You've got a global superstar, the drama of a lawsuit, and it's all connected to a hit album. It's basically designed to make you think a full, detailed story is just one click away.
So when you read that, your brain immediately starts filling in the blanks, doesn't it? You're getting ready to hear about who's suing, the nitty-gritty of the legal claim, which album they're talking about, and all the potential fallout. You're expecting facts, quotes, the whole 9 yards. A complete story.
Okay, but this is where our story takes a very, very sharp and unexpected turn. We went right to the source to find all those juicy details for this explainer. We pulled up the transcript provided for the video and, well, what we found was not at all what we were expecting.
This is it. Seriously, this is the entire transcript from the source. It's a mix of what looks like Korean, some Cyrillic, a jumble of characters. There are no names, no lawsuit details, no context. Just this.
And that's the question that just stops you in your tracks, right? How on earth do you get from a super specific headline about a Taylor Swift lawsuit to this? There's a huge disconnect here, and it forces us to look closer, not at the lawsuit, but at the source itself.
So the whole point of this explainer has to shift now. We're not investigating a celebrity lawsuit anymore. We're investigating a gap, a canyon really, between what a headline promises and what the content actually delivers.
And here it is, laid out plain as day. On the left, you've got this rich, detailed story that we were promised. And on the right, that's the actual data we were given. It is a complete and total mismatch. Nothing in the proof backs up the promise. Not one thing.
This brings us to a much bigger idea, because this isn't just some quirky one-off mistake. It's a perfect example of something we all run into every single day. So what do? What's our responsibility as someone trying to get information when the source itself is just broken?
And that, right there, is the real story. The most important thing to take away from all this has nothing to do with Taylor Swift. It's a critical, real-world lesson in media literacy. It's all about learning how to navigate this digital world, where headlines and content can be two completely different things. So this whole weird experience gives us a pretty practical game plan. Let's call it critical consumption. First, you gotta look beyond the headline. Just remember, it's written to get a click, not to give you context. Second, and this is the big one, you have to verify the source content itself. And third, be ready to question automated data. Sometimes, like in this case, a simple glitch is the entire story.
You know, this all boils down to one super important practice: source verification. It's really just the simple habit of asking, does the evidence actually support the claim, before we decide something is true, and definitely before we hit that share button.
So in the end, we actually did find a story, just not the one we were looking for. The real headline here wasn't about a lawsuit at all. It was about this massive, glaring gap between the words used to pull us in and the reality of the information we were actually given.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one last thought, something to keep in the back of your mind as you're scrolling through your feeds and browsing the internet.
Honestly, this whole thing was a huge reminder for us, and I hope it is for you too. In a world with endless headlines and infinite content, it really makes you wonder, how often do we just read the title and assume the rest of the story is true? This case, in all its weirdness, is the perfect argument for taking that one extra step to click, to read, and to actually verify.